Hey everyone, Corey from Aquarium Co-op. Today I'm here with Greg Sage of Select Aquatics. We stopped in on our road trip all the way from Wisconsin, and now we're on the way back. And you guys may have seen last time we were here, we did a whole fish room tour, and I wouldn't say a lot has changed. Like, a lot of the stock levels have changed, but we'll put a link to that up above so you can watch that if you've never seen Greg's setup before. And today I just want to talk to him about kind of the aftermath of what happened after we shot that video and some of the new things coming up you've got. So I think, we sold out quite a bit of fish once people, saw who you were on my channel. You kind of had to race through stuff. So,
well, it was funny because the video was posted, and you and I have known one another now for about 15 years or something. So you can always come by and do everything, whatever you want. And so we filmed and we had fun, and you left. And I had no idea what my life was going to become for the next 3 or 4 weeks. I had 240 emails the next morning. And so I shipped out some 65 boxes of fish over the next 3 weeks. And so some things have come down a number, but now we're building things back up. And in part due to the video that we just did, I'm just kind of streamlining a lot of things, and I moved a lot of stuff out of the fish room that I was keeping for conservation reasons, to give myself more tank space to develop some of the stuff that I'd like to have people buy and look at and keep. And so right now there are a number of things that are doing very well, and so, as you know, I've got a video thing going on, and I'll be producing videos every 2 weeks. Tomorrow, actually, I've got a 3-video set on something I've been asked to do for a couple of years, to come up with exactly how I breed the Odessa barbs here. So it's in 3 videos. The first one will be posted tomorrow, the next one will be posted on Saturday, the third will be posted on Sunday, and then after that will be followed sections, the half-hour shows on each of the species now that are in good number. And on the back half of those videos, I've been collecting some of the stranger emails and some of the more fun emails and some of the more fundamental emails over the last 7 years. And so I'll be answering those, and whenever I can, I'll be answering them with videos taking the fish down in the fish room. So yeah, finally got past that. And so everything was kind of cool. It was kind of settling down. Things are going great. And then you wrote and said you were going to be back in town.
That's right. I just happened to be driving through. So yeah, you do have a YouTube channel, and it's about 1,000 subscribers, something like that now. And we definitely, this video will come out in a little bit, so your Odessa barb should be already out, and we can link to that, so that way it won't be too hard for them to find, to get there. And that series, I'm excited for it. It's going to be kind of an in-depth thing. I know you put an insane amount of work into it, and they're quite long videos, and they're going to really detail exactly how to breed what you're breeding, the Odessa barb. And not a lot of people do that. A lot of people will just kind of like, oh yeah, you kind of do it. Like if I was to tell you, I'd be like, yeah, they're an egg scatter and you're going to do this. And they don't document every fry stage, and here's where we're going to feed them, we're going to do all that. And that's what turns it into a very long series. But it doesn't really exist out there. So it's, nice to have.
And the problem with the Odessa barbs is that this is a line that doesn't exist in the hobby otherwise, that I just happened to stumble across now about 7 years ago, and I've been selectively breeding them since. And unlike live bearers, where if you buy a couple swordtails, they'll reproduce for you and you'll have them and they'll send them out to friends and they'll stay in the hobby. The Odessa barbs, I've shipped out hundreds of them, but I don't think anybody's bred them. So it's a case of where some of you that go ahead and really like these fish have to breed them, as I've been doing. And so I really made a point of walking through carefully so that you can, after the end of these videos, you should be able to breed them and breed them up in good numbers. Because the whole point of this is to show you how to breed them 300 to 500 at a time.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so what species are actually in stock ready to ship? Because I know your numbers went way down on a lot of that stuff. And so, like, if someone was to watch this video now, let's say this is a week from today, what's most likely to be in stock for them to order currently?
Well, the tiger limias are doing really well, and I'm still working on getting them formally named. They're not yet officially named, so there's still a species without a name. They were discovered only in 1999, and so we're working with a scientist down in the Dominican Republic to get the morphological data together to get it in the paper, and also with Pablo Weaver out on the West Coast, who is managing the paperwork on getting that fish identified. So there's tiger limias are in great shape. The Xenotoka doedrei, which has turned out to be one of my most popular fish, very, very attractive gudid, really a pretty gudid. And so I made an effort a few months ago to set them up so that I'd have a large number of them to go out, because that's a fish that when you're looking for a first Goodea to try, you've never really tried Goodeas, they're great because they've got more temperature tolerance than the other Goodeas. They can live up to 77, 78 without much of a problem. They're really hardy. They're fairly prolific. So they're in good shape. And then there's another species that was considered to be the same species, but both of them were given new names. So the other one, which also used to be Xenotoca eisnei, as the Dodroi used to be, neither of them are anymore.
So does eisnei not exist anymore at all?
There's a third species in the genus, and I'll have to look and see. There may still be an eisnei. I'm not sure. But the other species was called Xenotoca eisnei Rio Tamazula, and it was changed to a Xenotoca lion's eye, and I have quite a few of those going, and they're really also very pretty, in a little bit more subtle, a lot more blue, bright orange. You can see them at the website, and we'll show them here on the video. So they're also in good supply. And then I've also been making a point of breeding up the Odessas, so that when people see the video and they want to give it a shot, I have groups of 8 or 10 of 8 fry. I sell them in groups of 6, but when I send 6, like I do with all my fish, I always send at least 1, if not 2 extras with the Odessas, because I have them here in good number and they're smaller. I'll send you at least 2 extras, and that way you can grow them up and breed them yourself. But at this point, you can go to the website and see how long it takes for them to develop the red stripe and all of that. Yeah. But so I do have a number of Odessas that are available.
And I will put a caveat in there. The reason he's sending extras is to cover any potential loss, which is almost never. But if you buy 6 fish and he ships 8 and 1 dies in transit, he doesn't owe you an 8th. It's like you got a 7th for free.
Right. Exactly.
So just know that he's sending extra just to really cover, but. He's got one of the best shipping practices around, very low loss. So I don't know that I've ever really had losses. So
yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't want to talk about it too much because you don't want to jinx it,
Yeah.
But from January till
no wood to knock on.
Till we got through the summer, I had only about 5 deaths of probably. Many hundreds of fish sold. I couldn't tell you how many, but my losses are really low. But that's because now I'm only shipping USPS overnight, and every fish is individually bagged in its own little deal, its own little home for its time till it gets to you. And when it arrives to you, it's going to be healthy and comfortable, and for the best acclimation and best ability to do well for you in your tanks.
And so I think I was admiring the Villifera mollies.
Yes,
right?
And the Villifera I also have in good supply. I forgot to mention those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Villifera also are in really good supply, and I sell a ton of those. A lot of those are going out. A lot of customers are writing me, showing me some really nice, huge fish they're creating. So
mine aren't huge yet. Mine are alive, but mine are not huge. Okay. Like I'm just not feeding enough or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you saw the ones down there and how they're coming, and but yeah, I do throw food into them all the time.
Yeah.
Throughout the day. So, but most customers are telling me they're getting that kind of size with just 2 to 4 feedings a day. I feed. I just feed every time I walk past the tank, but you can get away with feeding them as little as 3 or 4 times a day and still get some really honking fish.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's another video series that's coming up after the Odessas to look out? So in case people are like, I don't care about breeding.
Sure. Well, the next one after the Odessas is going to be on those Dodroi. So that will be the next one, and then after that, I believe we'll be on the on the Mai, and then after that we'll be on the Villifera. And the Mai is another one I forgot to mention. It's also in good number, so I have a lot of Mai here ready to go at the 2 to 4
until that video comes out. Then you'll sell out.
Right.
So get them now if you're gonna get them.
So the thing is, there's a number of species here that are in good supply, and I'll tell you, I hate to write to people and say, the red Audax, I really know, that you really want them. I'm doing my best to build them up. I'm not going to give up on anything. But there are a number of things that are available. And by the way, to correct something from the last video, if I have this moment, I'll take it. I mentioned in the last video, I learned a little bit in the last video. I made a comment that I have the Neocardina shrimp here, and I throw them out by the pound, and I'll ship them to you for $10.
Yeah.
So Corey laughs because he realizes what a stupid thing that was to say. So anyway, I did get a ton of emails, but what people don't realize is that if you're going to, they're shrimp and they don't like heat at all. They don't do well in the heat. So you have to ship them overnight. So, I'm sending people like 20 shrimp for $10, 40 shrimp for $20. Not a problem. But that's going to cost you between $35 and $45 for shipping, depending on where in the U.S. you are. So, if you want to get 20 shrimp, it's going to cost you $10, but it's going to cost $35 to ship it. So a lot of people go, oh my God, I thought I was going to get shrimp for $10. But, our good friends at the U.S. Postal Service have to get them to you. And fortunately, they do a fairly good job. And
it's more of an add-on item, like, oh, I'm ordering these fish. Oh, and I'll get some shrimp.
Right. A lot of people, that's the best way to do it, is you're ordering some other, and then get a bag of shrimp stuck in there, and then you can get them and get them started. And they're really prolific. You don't need 50 of them. You can, I started off with 10, and I have zillions, thousands downstairs. So, if you get 20, that sets you up really well. And I'd like not to ship more than $10 at a time of the shrimp. But anyway, that's what the story is on the shrimp. So, yeah. And so whenever you order, send me your zip code so I know exactly where you are. And then I get right back to you. I answer all my emails in 24 hours, and I'll give you a quote. And then we'll get the suckers out to you. Whatever it is you're looking for.
Yeah. So, and if you got to get on a waiting list, there's some fish that don't exactly make it on video and stuff like that, that it's like 4 years now I'm waiting for these things, but I'm still waiting. And he's working with stuff that no one else has, no one else wants to work with, and unfortunately some of the stuff doesn't breed that easy or that prolific, and it's a waiting game. So, wait patiently.
And oh my God, I'm so, for those of you who've been waiting for Montezumas, I'm right with you. I'm doing the best I can. I was just showing Corey exactly how the whole business is gearing up and working toward getting to a point where I can crank out 2 to 4 month old fry on a regular basis. I've been doing that. I've shipped out about 150 fish over the last 6-8 months. And it's just a slow process. So, if I finally write you to say they're available and you tell me that your kids have grown and the tank is in the garage and all that kind of stuff, I apologize. I'm doing the best I can, and we'll get them out as soon as we can.
Labor of love for sure.
That's right.
All right, well, make sure you check out Select Aquatics both on YouTube and his website. And if you fall in love with something, order it up before it's gone, because things do sell out, especially when we put out the videos. And now it's time for us to hop back in a van and 19 hours back to Seattle.
Yay! I wish I was coming with you, man.
It'd be fun.